し、じゃんけんで10回連続愛子が出て、周りからもさすが双子なんて言われて。
別にいいだろ、それは。
好き。
え
Shiunji Family Episode 3. My friends, boys, girls, I got one episode left in me. I think I'm done with this show. I feel like I'm watching a big show of a nothing burger. Last week I had this revelation of like, I think this show doesn't have any idea. I think the author, first off, the author's from Rent-A-Girlfriend, and I could tell you, I stopped watching Rent-A-Girlfriend. I loved Rag, okay? I thought the first season was really good. The MC, insufferable. He almost makes you borderline want to just like throw away this show. But season 1 I thought was really good, and I made me a fan. I even bought like the first, I don't even know, I have like first 8 volumes of the manga. I genuinely do enjoy Rent-A-Girlfriend, but the thing is as it continued on and on, it felt like it just got stretched and stretched and stretched and stretched. And it felt like I was getting slapped in the face as somebody who was consuming and supporting and basically transferring my money to the author to make some subpar product. I was like, you know what? I'm done with this show. I actually hate the MC, whatever, you know, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take my love turned hate of Rag, and I'm not gonna bring it into this show. I'm just gonna watch it with a fresh pair of eyes. And I just feel like I'm watching a nothing burger of a show. And like I said, I talked about it last week during episode 2 of just like, I feel like the show is just existing for the sake of existing, to have a forbidden love type deal where you have our main character who's just all of a sudden gonna turn his brain. He's like, he clicks it over from like, oh, I'm a loving older brother. I gotta protect my sister, so I want to fuck him, and it just doesn't make sense to me at all. And I hate to use that kind of language and just be like very vile about it, but it's like I feel like that's the whole purpose of the show. Because what's the story? What's the story? You know, what's the story? Is it some big love story? No. Like, what's the purpose? You know. Some of the things that I talked about last week, I'll just rehash it again. And let me just talk about episode 3, okay? So, and then I'll go back. Episode 3 was just a family outing. It was a family outing at the amusement park. And the big moments that happened was Arata spent time with Bonri. She flirted with him a lot, which, based on what the show said and the siblings said, is that's normal Bonri. She does that, you know. They were like, oh, I bet she was like, let's go on a date, whatever. It sounds like that's just the dynamic between her and Arata specifically. Shion, he could get the hell out of there. Apparently he's you know, I don't know. He's just not into women or something. He just doesn't matter in the context of this story. It's only about Arata. Let me not even stop that. I can stop. Just keep going. Okay, so they go on a date, whatever. They get separated. The other kids, they have a fantastic time. At some point in the story, Seiha breaks it to the gang, to the group, that Kotono, the little sister, had a moment with Arata, that she had a moment with him before they were announced as not blood relatives, and she's had an even bigger moment, a naked moment now with Arata after. They go, oh my god, I can't believe it. You know, she's going through a phase. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, that happens. Then we have Oka, right? Oka is the twin. And I did tell you guys last week, like, if anybody has if there's any weirdness to happen, it would be between Arata and Oka, just because they have this closer than thou relationship, because twins generally think like they're one of the same being that are just separated at birth, you know, kind of thing. So like, that makes the most sense. Well, that proved me right, because at the end of the episode, she says, I love you to Arata. Now, his response should immediately be like, I love you too. You know what I mean? But he pauses because now everything's being taken differently. And that's the episode, okay? There was another moment where Oka was basically like foaming at the mouth, describing Arata, when her friends were like saying, oh, he's really good looking and stuff. All right, let me just stop there. So this was just a nothing burger of an episode. Really, it just existed to have Oka have that moment at the end, and then for Bonri to flirt with her brother. So here's where my whole problem with this show is. One, I talked about it already, but Shion is also male. So why is it that all the love, all the forbiddenness, all the everything, you know, and I get it. Arata is the main character. He's written as the male lead. But Shion is very much a male too. And he's, besides him and Minami, he's in the same situation as Arata. But for some reason, they just don't consider him a man, I guess, or something. So there's that. Okay, so that's the first problem. Second problem is Arata himself as a main character. He has a good grasp of himself. He understands that he's tall, in shape, good looking. He's shy. You know, he understands that he's shy and not good with women. He has a girl that he likes and or something like that, you know, and he can't confess. But he understands that he's athletic and good looking and decently smart, and also the next head of the Shiunji family. It's already solidified that that everything's going to him, and he has to take care of his brothers and sisters. Well, one brother, whatever. So he's rich. So he's good looking, athletic, tall, takes care of his siblings, decently smart, organized, rich. Okay, so immediately he's basically, and again, not to be vile, he's a pussy magnet. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? Now, can he do anything with it? You know, he's shy, he's reserved. Of course he is. He's written by a Japanese author. That's just the way that they write their MCs. Not everybody, but like 95%. Okay, so that's another big deal. The third thing, man, I freaking hate him. And for different reasons than the rag person. Third thing is just the interrelationships between all the siblings. This episode, they describe Bonnery and stuff, right? And they're like, oh, you know, she's always a flirt. You know, she's always that way with Arata. They're always whatever. And it's like, always? So even before the blood relative stuff, she was in the dark too. So she didn't know either. So you can't even have that excuse to where, oh, well, she knew because she was the oldest before. No. She found out at the same time. Everybody found out the same information at the same time. So that means she kind of had a very weird crossing the line in relationship with her brother already. And they just summed that up to, oh, that's just her. Now, I get it. You know what I mean? Again, anime likes to flirt, you know, and manga likes to flirt with brother, sister, you know, sis con, brother con, you know, bro con, sometimes mom con, dad kun, you know, whatever. Like, they like to flirt with those familial bonds a little too much. I get it. That's fine. But then that means that she was already, like, you know, crossing the line. And this also extends to Seiha. This also extends to Oka, and this definitely extends to Kotono, where they already, again, Shion, unpuss magnet, don't matter. But when it comes to Arata, they all had this flirtatious relationship with him already. And for Arata, it sounds like he's been getting worked up at his sisters for a while. Like, that's also a huge red flag. Like, I don't know about y'all. You know, I don't have siblings, so I can't super comment on it. But I see my kids, you know, I see them play around and all the other stuff. And I'm just like, okay, they never have weird reactions to each other because there's just something like, as you grow up with somebody, you just realize like, hey, that's my annoying ass sister or annoying ass brother, whatever. You don't think about it that way because that you're growing up in the same environment. So it's like, why was bro having these blushy moments prior to this knowledge? And even after, like, you just can't turn from like, you know, protect, serve, whatever, fuck. You just can't, it just doesn't happen. It just frustrates me to no end. So those are just some of the things where I'm just like, okay. And then on top of everything else, here's the thing. And if you guys made it to this point on my rant review, the top of everything else, it's boring. And I was really thinking to myself, yesterday, I wrapped up watching, and I was thinking about making a video about it, but I was like, I don't know. We'll see if it happens or not. Maybe I'll throw it on my other channel. But yesterday I finished watching Blue Box, okay? Because the dub came out. I was like, you know what? F it. I watched the first 3 or 4 episodes when the season started. I was like, man, I don't like this at all. It's boring. Like, you can just tell that these dudes are, like, this dude and this girl are never going to get together. Like, he's just a big, like, he's one of those dudes who are like, I have to score straight A's before I can confess, or else it doesn't matter. And sure enough, he ended up being one of those, like, I gotta win every tournament before I can confess to her. And it's just like, okay. I didn't really like it at the end of it, but there was enough good stuff in the there was enough funny moments and enough entertainment value, and it definitely it was like an ocean, and it was like really good. Well, this is awful, blah 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 blah. But I got through it because I got to just fuck around and play on my Switch, just watch it in the background, whatever, and I finished it. But I didn't like it. This show is way worse than that one, and I didn't even like that one. So what am I doing watching this? I don't know. I'm gonna give it one more episode. I'm gonna see y'all next week. But that's my big rant about. I just think that we're witnessing a big nothing burger, and I think if you're just in it for fan service, titty McBitties, some fun moments, maybe some fun, not funny, but maybe some fun moments that Aruta gets, I don't know, one of his sister's toes stuck in his mouth or something like that, and maybe he pops a boner in the washroom on accident, and he rubs it to his sister or something like that. If that's what you're in for, all power to you, brothers and sisters. Take on hallelujah to the anime gods. But if you're in here for just anything else, I just think that this is just not very good. I'm gonna give it one more. I'll see you next week.